Thank you. We're back into session.
The meeting was standing room only.
Thank you very much for being patient with us.
The temperature was rising.
We've got to make the cuts.
And the debate was certainly heating up.
I am not a teacher. I am not an employee of this county.
This guy has not been caught. Understand?
Yes, sir.
So you must stay far enough away to where they can't grab you.
You think sometimes that you're being overprotective as a parent.
Can you demonstrate what you do? Ah!
Stop! Stranger! You're not my mom or dad!
Run! Run! Ah!
In the past decade, there have been 263 crashes right here on this road, 102 of them being collisions with fixed objects like a tree or a pole. And many folks said when it comes to this road, that's their biggest concern.
Injured in the crash herself. No one dreamed Wendy Cohorn would be out of the hospital in time for her 5-year-old son's vigil.
I didn't even want to come home. I still don't want to go back through my door.
Blake Cohorn was the only one in his family of 5 killed when a suspected wrong-way drunk driver slammed into their car.
He deserves to know every day for the rest of his life that he took the best thing in this world from me. He took my 5-year-old baby. He took my world.
Put the camera down, please.
We're on a public street. We're just asking you just reaction about these conditions.
That's the reaction we got when we approached Sergeant Brian Linhart at the U.S. Army Cadet Corps with photos inside these evacuated buildings.
You're attacking me.
I don't think this is attacking at all. I'm just showing you photos.
Officials here were shocked by last week's evacuation, saying Rankin and McIntyre buildings were up to code to their knowledge.
Do you think that it's safe for the cadets to be staying where there's live wires hanging down in damp conditions?
Well, none of our cadets were staying in any of these areas that you're showing me pictures
Well, they
of.
were here though.
Yes.
But the fire marshal says common sense should have told them that the buildings were not safe.
And this is some of the worst conditions I've ever seen. There were live electric lines throughout the breaks in between the windows next to the beds.
When looking through all 21 photos, the sergeant still claimed the cadets were safe.
If you know you're under renovation, why do you have cadets staying in buildings that are under renovation?
Because at the time, ma'am, the building inspectors that we've been working with gave us no indication that any of our people would not be safe.
We were told those were energized wires that were hanging there.
The fire marshal has a different story, saying back in 2009, the state advised them not to occupy these buildings.
Reiterated with that again 3 weeks prior to our arrival on our complaint and advised not to be in the structures. They chose not to heed those warnings.
So what's next? The fire marshal gave them until today to make some sort of progress.
If it means that we eventually may have to tear down one of these buildings in order to move forward, then unfortunately we may have to take that step.
Officials will be checking up on that this Friday. In Millersburg, Jerica Insko, WKYT.
Rat has been missing since Tuesday, but it finally took the help of a man familiar with caves to coax him out tonight.
Come here, boy!
The hours of shouts and pleas weren't in vain. Marcy Gardner all but climbed in the hole herself to rescue her dog, Rat.
Come on, Rat!
On day 4, right at sunset, with help from an expert cave crawler armed with scraps of bologna.
He was scared. He didn't know what to do. So I had to coax him down a little bit.
Rat came out. News spread fast among the 24 involved in the rescue.
I want to thank everybody, the Garrett County Animal Shelter, the man that I don't even know his name, Keith with the bulldozer or the dozer, whatever it is, and then our caveman wherever he went.
Garner's emotion is hard to hide.
I mean, he's just like one of my own.
Rat's mom says he will not be hunting anytime soon. In Garrett County, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Hi, baby. It's okay. Nobody's gonna hurt you.
Take a trip down to Jessamine County's Wolf Run Wildlife Refuge, and you'll spot many things you'd see on a typical family farm. And And many wouldn't, because here at this wildlife refuge,
Look at Cupcake saying, oh my God, they're leaving me behind.
every animal has a story.
We do a lot of special needs. We're almost all special needs.
Take Buddy the horse. He's had a home at the refuge after being attacked by a dog several years ago.
Hello, Reba. Hello, Totem.
Or take a look at this unlikely bond between a coyote and dog. But as for the most recent animals brought to the refuge,
This is Quirky. He is one very young, as you can tell, still a pup from the Ohio County Horde situation.
5 wolf dogs rescued in September after officials found human remains on the owner's property.
The conditions were so bad there. It's amazing most of them made it out alive.
She says these are low-content wolf dogs, meaning that they're a few generations away from when the wolf was introduced into the breed.
These dogs probably have less wolf than most domestic dogs.
And now more than ever, this special needs refuge is the one in need, considering the high cost of caring for these dogs. The farm manager has to haul 80 to 120 pounds of dog food up to the kennels every single week, costing them upwards of $300. But thankfully, in a few short weeks, Newts hopes these dogs will find a new home. But if not,
if for any reason they're not adopted or not adoptable, they'll stay here for the rest of their lives and be cared for and loved.
In Jessamine County, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
For the most part, it's a quiet neighborhood along Clays Mill Road.
Greed is a terrible thing to watch, I know that.
Sonia Tapp lives in this home and says it's a typical place to live without much traffic. But today was a busy one on her street.
I mean, I've never seen that many people. Even if you have a yard sale, I don't see this many people stop.
It started when someone discovered this long line of miscellaneous things sitting on a curb.
I was after appliances, but they're not selling those.
What they didn't know was why Tapp's belongings were out there in the open.
No one called, and I got a knock on the door today. Here I am, trying to keep the vultures off my belongings.
Says important papers.
Getting evicted just added to this woman's list of battles, like going through a divorce.
A double mastectomy and taking her chemotherapy now, so she's having to move too, so it's life.
Foreclosed on today, Tapp had to get her stuff out, but she didn't abandon it and couldn't. Every time she turned around, someone was trying to take all she has left.
I'm just trying to move it. And no one wants to, buy anything. Everybody just wants to take it.
Even after turning folks away, X is the mark for treasure hunters looking to get anything for free.
Nah, I don't want to buy none of it. If I can't get it, give it to me, I ain't buying it.
From her window looking out, this is what she could see. And on that glass, a sign to keep everyone, including herself, out.
I have no money, nowhere to go, and nothing that looks like it's very promising.
Merely holding on to what she has as she parts with what is no longer hers. In Lexington, Jerica Ensko, WKYT.
That morning I came back here.
After working as a cattle farmer for the past 40 years, Stephen Howe knows his land and the 80 cattle on it like the back of his hand.
I've got some calves right here behind this dog kennel.
Last week, it didn't take long before Howe realized something was wrong. 2 of his cattle were missing.
They just don't hide in a corner someplace, and they just don't come up and disappear with no logical reason.
The 2 black cows are worth more than $3,000, and they're a hot commodity for one reason.
They were due to calve within the next week to 10 days.
The strange series of events leading up to the cows' disappearance started last Saturday after Howe left town.
My neighbor found my cows out. This gate here was pushed back towards the lot, and this gate here was swung back against this fence.
His fence is secured by an automatic lock, latch, and chain. And with plenty of security in place, Howe has come to one conclusion.
Somebody had to open that gate.
But Howe has no idea who that somebody is, so he decided to set out on his own and search for answers.
I've called different people that I know make several trips past here a day, and nobody's seen a thing.
Unfortunately, those efforts turned out to be fruitless. But Howe isn't stopping his search anytime soon, especially since one of the missing cattle was supposed to be a gift for his nephew.